Did you know that some of the clothes hanging in your wardrobe right now and several of the places you visit every week may be quietly stealing your energy, your confidence, and your physical safety without you ever suspecting they are the cause? Most people assume that feeling drained after a simple outing or struggling through a morning routine is simply what getting older feels like. Something to accept, something to endure in silence. But here is what your body has actually been trying to tell you. It is not failing, it is communicating. Every aching foot, every afternoon of unexplained exhaustion, every evening spent depleted after a social gathering you once loved, those are not signs of decline. They are signals. And when you learn to read them, everything changes. Yes, in this video, we are going to talk about 3 types of clothing that can silently work against your body after 70. And 3 types of places that may be quietly draining your vitality, your safety, and your peace. These are not arbitrary rules. They are rooted in real biological changes and psychological shifts that happen as we move through this remarkable stage of life. Stay with me all the way to the end, because the final place on our list is the one that surprises people most. It has nothing to do with your physical body and everything to do with your emotional world. Once you recognize all 6 of these, you will have a clear, practical understanding of what small changes can restore vibrant energy and genuine comfort to every single day. For clothing 1, heavy and restrictive fabrics. One of the most immediate changes you can make to transform how you feel every day is to honestly examine the weight and structure of the fabrics you wear. As we move into our 70s, circulation naturally becomes a little more conservative, and the body begins managing its energy with greater care. Heavy, dense, rigid materials, structured wool, stiff denim, unyielding tweed, force every muscle to work harder with every movement and every breath. Your chest expands against resistance. Your shoulders carry extra load. Your body is spending energy on your clothing before you have even left the house. Please know this is not a sign of your body weakening. It is your body conserving its energy for the functions that matter most: your heart, your lungs, your mind. Consider Frank, a 66-year-old retired judge who had worn formal structured clothing his entire professional life. His suits were not just clothing to Frank, they were his identity, the visual expression of who he was and the standards he held himself to. Even in retirement, he dressed formally for every community event and Sunday service. But over the past 2 years, he had begun returning home from morning outings utterly spent, collapsing into his armchair before noon. He assumed it was his heart. He reduced his social calendar and scheduled extra cardiology appointments. What Frank never considered was the 3 pounds of structured wool he wore across his chest and shoulders every time he left the house. When his daughter suggested a well-cut linen blazer one Sunday, Frank was reluctant. He worried he would appear diminished. And he wore it anyway and came home that afternoon still talking, still laughing, still full of energy at 4 o'clock, in a way he had not experienced in years. His wardrobe had been quietly exhausting him. One simple change gave him his life back. Heavy clothing sends a continuous signal of physical resistance to your nervous system, which responds by drawing on your energy reserves all day long, even when you are simply sitting still. Choosing lightweight, breathable fabrics, linen, soft cotton, fluid jersey, removes that burden entirely. This is not a concession. It is the most sophisticated wardrobe decision available to you. True elegance at any age is clothing that allows you to be fully present, not clothing that demands your energy just to wear it. Clothing 2. Footwear without proper support. The second clothing item, and the one with the most serious consequences for your daily independence, is footwear that lacks proper arch support, cushioning, or a reliable grip. By 60, the natural fat pads on the soles of the feet have thinned, and the ligaments supporting the arch have lost some of their elasticity. Every step you take sends impact upward through your ankles, knees, hips, and lower back, and without adequate cushioning, Your body absorbs that impact in all the wrong places. This is not because your balance is going. It is your foot's internal structure asking very patiently for a little external support. Think about Dorothy, a 63-year-old retired nurse who had always been sensible and practical. She loved her classic flat leather loafers, familiar, comfortable, entirely her. But in recent months, she had begun stumbling on perfectly flat pavements, hesitating at shallow steps, gripping her shopping trolley more tightly than she used to. She told her daughter she thought something was wrong with her balance. She stopped taking her long Saturday morning walks, not from pain, but from a quiet fear that had settled in her chest every time she thought about going out alone. A podiatrist at a routine appointment asked to look at her shoes. He pressed his thumb against the sole and explained that the shoe was offering her foot almost no information about the ground beneath it. No grip, no sensory feedback, no shock absorption. Her brain was guessing with every step and compensating with anxiety. Dorothy visited a specialist footwear shop that week. She found lightweight walking shoes, stylish, deeply cushioned, with genuine arch support and a textured rubber sole. The following Saturday, she walked for 50 minutes without a single moment of hesitation. Your shoes send direct signals of safety or uncertainty to your brain with every single step. Supportive footwear tells your nervous system the ground is reliable and your muscles relax. Your stride opens, your confidence returns. Investing in proper shoes is not about surrendering style. It is about honoring the foundation your feet provide and protecting your freedom to move through the world without fear. You have earned that freedom. The right shoes preserve it. If you are still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you are here. And if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you do not miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let us move forward. Clothing 3. Garments with complicated fastenings. The third clothing item to reconsider is anything that requires significant manual dexterity to put on. Tiny buttons, stiff back zips, tight clasps in hard-to-reach positions. As we move through our 60s, the small joints of the hands can carry morning stiffness, particularly in the first hour after waking when the body is still easing into the day. Grip strength and fine motor precision require a little more patience than they once did. This is not the beginning of something worrying. It is the natural evolution of joints that have spent 7 decades in faithful, tireless service. Consider Vivian, a 69-year-old retired headmistress, who had always dressed with great style and intention. Her wardrobe was full of beautifully tailored blouses with pearl buttons, dresses with back zips, structured shirts with small cuff fastenings. Getting dressed had always been a quiet ritual she loved. But gradually, almost without her noticing, those minutes had stretched into a daily struggle. The buttons took multiple attempts. The back zip required rest breaks. She began choosing outfits not by what she loved, but by what she could manage alone. And then, slowly, she began going out less, not because she wanted to stay home, but because the effort of getting ready had become too high a price for the destination. A close friend introduced her to adaptive clothing, blouses with concealed magnetic closures that looked identical to buttons, yet wrapped dresses with no zip at all, fine merino pullovers that slipped on in seconds. Vivian was moved almost to tears, not because the clothing was beautiful, though it was, but because it handed her mornings back to her. She started wearing color again. She went back to her Tuesday lunches and Thursday gallery visits. Her clothing had quietly been shrinking her world. Changing it expanded it overnight. When the hands are forced into painful, frustrating tasks at the start of every day, the brain registers stress before the morning has properly begun, and that stress colors every hour that follows. A wardrobe built around ease and accessibility is a wardrobe of wisdom. Magnetic closures, elastic waists, wrap styles, and soft pullovers are not the clothing of compromise. They are the clothing of a person who knows that her mornings belong to her, and that the energy she once spent on stubborn fastenings is now available for everything she actually loves. From your wardrobe to your world. Now that we have explored the clothing that can quietly work against your body and your mornings, we must turn our attention to something equally important: the places you visit. Because the environments you choose to spend your time in have just as much power over your energy, your safety, and your peace of mind as anything in your wardrobe. And there are 3 types of places that, after 60, can silently drain everything you have spent your morning carefully preserving. Place 1. Overcrowded and intensely noisy environments. The first type of place to reconsider is any environment defined by dense crowds, high noise levels, and overlapping sensory demands, the kind of loud, echoing, relentlessly busy spaces that leave you exhausted before you have even finished your first cup of tea. As we move through our 60s, the brain's ability to filter background noise naturally changes. Separating the voice of the person across from you from 30 competing conversations, clattering dishes, and background music requires significantly more cognitive effort than it once did. This is not a decline in sharpness. It is your brain's natural adaptation, doing the same job with a little more effort and asking for a little more suitable conditions in return. When those conditions are absent, the brain triggers a mild stress response. You arrive home feeling inexplicably irritable and drained from an outing you were supposed to enjoy. Think about Susan, a 64-year-old retired music teacher who had met her closest friends for lunch at the same lively city restaurant every second Friday for nearly a decade. She loved those women, but she had begun dreading the Fridays before the lunches. She could hear almost nothing clearly at the table. She smiled and nodded, laughed when others laughed, but rarely followed the conversation. She drove home feeling lonelier than before she had arrived. She started canceling. She worried she was becoming antisocial. A close friend suggested a small, carpeted cafe at the library, quieter, no music, tables set wide apart. The first Friday they met there, Susan heard every word. She laughed because she had caught the joke. She left feeling energized, deeply glad she had come. Nothing about the friendship had changed. Everything about the environment had. Loud, chaotic spaces force your nervous system into a continuous state of alert, scanning, filtering, compensating, without ever allowing it to rest. Quiet parks, calm cafes, uncrowded galleries, and peaceful gardens are not retreats from the world. They are upgrades. You have absolutely earned the right to choose them without explanation or apology. When you protect your sensory environment, you protect your capacity for genuine presence, and you give the people you love the full, engaged version of you, rather than the one working overtime just to hear the conversation. If you are still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you are here. And if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you do not miss any videos. And your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let us move forward. Place 2. Dimly lit spaces with uneven ground. The second type of place to approach with care is any environment that combines low lighting with unpredictable or uneven terrain, the kind of place where your eyes and your feet are constantly negotiating the unknown together. As we move through our 60s, the eyes naturally admit a little less light, and depth perception requires more visual information to function accurately. When that information is absent, when a room is dim, when a path is cobbled or root-covered, when a step blends into shadow, The brain does not accept the uncertainty. It compensates with heightened muscle tension, shortened steps, and quiet anxiety. You feel it as hypervigilance and as a kind of subtle physical exhaustion that lingers long after you have left the place that demanded it. Consider George, a 67-year-old retired landscape architect who had walked a wooded trail near his home every evening for decades. He called it the Blue Hour, the most beautiful time of day to be among trees. But as his vision changed, the trail began to betray him. He tripped over roots twice in 1 month. A quiet fear settled into his evenings, and then he stopped going entirely, not because he had lost his love of the outdoors, but because he had lost his confidence in those specific conditions. A friend suggested the botanical gardens across the city, beautifully paved, open, generously lit, with smooth stone paths and clear sight lines in every direction. George resisted at first. It felt like a substitution. But walking through those gardens for the first time, moving freely along level paths with full light around him, he understood. He had not lost the outdoors. He had simply found the version of it designed for the eyes and feet he had now. Well lit, even environments give your nervous system the visual data it needs to walk with ease and confidence. Choosing them is not limiting your world. It is intelligently designing your life around the conditions that allow you to be fully present and fully safe within it. You deserve to arrive home from your walks feeling exhilarated, not relieved. Place 3. Environments that drain your emotional energy. And now we arrive at the final place, the one I promised from the very beginning. The one with nothing to do with your physical body, your vision, or your balance. Yeah, the one that operates entirely between your heart and your nervous system. This is the gathering, the obligation, the recurring event you attend out of duty, out of loyalty, out of a conviction so deeply held it feels like part of your character, and from which you return, consistently, feeling heavier. Not tired in the good way, in the way that follows a long walk or a rich conversation. Heavier, smaller, as if something quiet has been taken from you. As we move through our 60s, the body becomes measurably more sensitive to the physiological cost of chronic emotional stress. Persistent negativity, unreciprocated obligation, the particular exhaustion of performing composure for people who do not truly see you. These raise cortisol, elevate blood pressure, disrupt sleep, and accumulate in the body in ways that take a long time to trace back to their source. Think about Eleanor, a 68-year-old retired librarian who had served on the same neighborhood committee for 22 years. She had joined because she cared. She had stayed because she believed in showing up. But the meetings had long since devolved into grievances and bitter disagreements. Eleanor came home from each one with a weight across her chest she could not name. She lay awake, replaying conversations that left her feeling invisible. She told herself she had to stay, that people counted on her, that loyalty required it. You might have spent decades doing the same, pushing through environments that stopped serving you long ago, out of a sense of duty so ingrained it felt indistinguishable from your values. But at this magnificent stage of your life, your time and your emotional reserves are far too precious to be spent in spaces that leave you feeling depleted and unseen. Eleanor eventually, quietly, gave herself permission to step away. She used the time she reclaimed to join a watercolor class, a warm room full of people who came to create rather than complain. Within a month, her sleep had returned. The weight had lifted. She laughed again with the ease she had almost forgotten. Walking away from what diminishes you is not abandonment. It is not selfishness. It is one of the most profound acts of self-respect available to you. Joy, laughter, and genuine connection do not simply feel good. They strengthen the immune system and restore the body in ways no supplement can replicate. You have the absolute, earned, unambiguous right to curate a social life built entirely around people and places that build you up. Seek out the rooms where you leave feeling more yourself than when you arrived. Those are not luxuries. They are the whole point. If you are still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you are here. And if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you do not miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let us move forward. Take a slow, quiet breath right now. Let your shoulders settle. Simply breathe. We have walked through 6 quiet forces, shaping your daily life in ways you may never have thought to examine. The heavy fabrics turning every outing into an act of endurance. Now the unsupported footwear replacing confidence with quiet fear. The complicated fastenings narrowing the boundaries of your mornings. The noisy environments exhausting your brain before the meal is half finished. The dim, uneven spaces filling your walks with vigilance instead of joy. And the draining obligations taking far more from you than they ever return. Making these adjustments is not a process of losing your style or shrinking your world. It is a glorious process of refining your life. You are not stepping back from anything. You are stepping forward into days that are warmer, lighter, and more genuinely yours than the ones built on habits that no longer serve you. Aging is not about quietly fading into the background. It is about standing with unshakable confidence in your own worth and claiming the quality of life you deserve. Or the lighter coat, the supportive shoe, the quiet cafe, the watercolor class, the friends who make you laugh until the evening disappears. These are not small things. They are the whole thing. Leave a comment below and share one thing from today's video you plan to bring into your life. Your words matter enormously here. If this conversation brought you clarity or comfort, please share it with someone who might need it. Like this video, subscribe, and turn on the bell so we can keep this conversation going. Take wonderful care of yourself. We will see you in the next video.